Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Writer's Mind. I'm Bialois, your host. Um, this week, I thought we'd talk a little bit about dialogue. It's something that came up in my recent virtual writer podcast about writing different dialogues and everything. And for me, my stories are always character driven. I just prefer character over plot. I mean, obviously, others prefer plot. Whatever works, works. It's all it's what works best for us. What kind of we like to how we like to tell stories. Um, and again, a lot of it for me is just dialogue. I don't necessarily rely a lot on description. Like maybe I'll set the scene. I'll explain one time what the person looks like, and then I kind of leave it at that. I let the because in my mind, like even if I have whether it's Mark Twain, Stephen King, whoever I'm reading, they'll give me a description of character, and I don't, for whatever reason, my brain just pictures it whatever it sees its own self. It doesn't matter what the description is. That's just how my brain works. So I don't really put a huge amount into what each person looks like in the story, unless it's going to be a reason I'm pointing it out. Usually it's like, I'm looking at mocking a cliche, playing up a cliche, playing up a stereotype, playing up a stereotype, or whatever. It's usually I'm up to something like that. Something subtle, something just me just trying to be, clever or pain. It's like, I like to say my muse makes me smarter than I am. I'll write some stuff and I'll be like, I wrote that? Where did that come from? But it's like, one thing I've learned is, for me anyway, it's a dialogue. You can have the best story in the world, the best plot, the best execution, but if your dialogue falls flat, and that's the biggest thing. That's where um, one genre we can look at for that is actually soap operas. I mean, you can every now and then you'll get the episode where they'll hit something on point. It's energetic, it's entertaining, it's funny, and it just lightens the mood. It energizes the show. It makes it go by faster, and it's something you remember. Or at least I remember. Others where they just sit there and it's almost like so, yeah, it's like watching paint dry. Like they're talking about watching paint dry type of thing. That's what it feels like sometimes. And again, they have a lot of shows to fill out. They have a lot of episodes to fill out. Five episodes a week, year round, nonstop. So it makes sense. You're gonna have episodes like that. But that's where I kind of look at where that's almost for me a good benchmark of like how to do one way, how to do another, because they have both. And you can't have both in the same episode in different scenes, even the same scene. So it's get that interjection of the humor down there, or just that energy, like just them bantering back and forth, like how it's delivered, how it's written. And I think a large part is it depends on, as writers, we're always looking for the right word, the perfect phrase, the perfect way to say something, to explain something. Um, we're always trying to find how to convey our thoughts properly, what we want to feel to it. For myself, I've kind of taken a different approach. And again, I don't know how many others do it this way. I can't tell you. I'm sure others have. For me, I kind of look at it as like, I want to trust my readers. I mean, over the years, let me try a little bit here. Um, I've heard writers saying how you want to, and Bader's told me this, and other writers and even editors, you want to explain everything to the reader. You want to tell them what to think, what to feel, explain the scene in detail. I'm like, no, I don't. I mean, I read to escape. I want to just dive in a book and just escape. And if the details are in there, it's a kind of like soap opera mentality. If they show something or say something, there's a reason. It's limited time, limited money. They're saying and showing us for a reason. It's going to be important on the line. And for me, that's how I look at it. If I'm going to put something in there or read something, I expect it to mean something. Not I don't care why a kid played with a marble when he's a kid. He's like he was like 5 years old, and now he's 35 and okay, he's just telling a story. Why is he telling a story? Does it pertain to his character? Does it flesh out his character somewhat? Does it show his importance of something? Does it explain why, how he looks at a problem there? Just kind of just different aspects. Does it do that, or is it just a story they put in because it's just a story? And for me, I don't want to. I don't mind anecdotes. I love anecdotes like that. But for me, it has a serve a purpose. I mean, I sometimes love it. Everyone does. Um, we put it in there because we just like it so much. We keep it in. But it's like, but for me, like I said, when it comes to how to trust in the readers, I'm like, I'll put in how I feel. Like I'll write this scene. like a back and forth between the characters and like that. And I'll write it how, in my mind, and how I feel, how I see it. But I don't go into huge detail and really direction, so to speak, in dictating what is being done, why it should be done, what is this, what is that. Like I was like, you must see this, and I don't. Like, I kind of just leave it out there because I like to see where it's fun. It's almost kind of lighthearted. Yeah, it's antagonistic, but it is kind of just kneeling each other like friends do. It's like we're not all like, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. It's like sometimes we're like, you mother, and it's just fun. Just laughing about it or something like that. It's crass, but it is what it is. And sometimes that's just all it is. But other people see it and they're like, oh my God, you talk to each other that way? How can you not respect each other? How can you not respect yourself? And some people take it that way. They'll think, oh, fight's about to break out. And they might be disappointed down the road when it's not a fight. Like they may not understand what like I'm trying to say or anyone's trying to say, because there's times I don't understand what's being said in the book because I'm not thinking in that wavelength, so I understand it. And I get it. They may not like it because of that. Like, oh, you missed an opportunity. You missed something. Okay, yeah, in that point of view, I did. And maybe hindsight, like I see that as someone says to me, like, crap, I wish I had done that. Yeah, it's a great idea. Where were you in the reading this? It's like, it's always being open ideas. And there are times I'll be like, yeah, I probably should have done it. That would have been a great thing to do. Like, it's you're kicking yourself. I kick myself pretty hard sometimes. And other times I'm like, kind of okay, well but that's not what I'm conveying here. This is what I want to do. It's just friends just arguing because it's how they express themselves. And I don't want to get that, and that's fine. But that's when trusting the reader, because like any art, whether it's painting, drawing, music, we get out of it what we feel. We get our own interpretations of it. How it makes us feel. What do we see in it? What do we think the lyrics mean, or what do we think the imaging means? And we draw our conclusions. And for me, that's the biggest part. Writing is hard. It's for us adults, it's our chance to play. It's like going out in the yard where kids playing with Matchbox toys or figures, whatever, playing Barbie house, whatever. It's like whenever we do as children, this is our chance to play as adults. We can bring out the make believe toys and play. Um, but it's also about just sitting there and just having fun and conveying a thought, conveying a point we're trying to make. Um, it's I can't really think of a better way to describe it in a way for me and my mindset, but it's for us to be fun, but we're also conveying our vision of a scene, our vision of a world, our vision of how people act, might act, shouldn't act. Again, and it's all open for interpretation. And and so it's one of those fun experiences when it's fun. It's not for when someone says like, "Well, why'd you do this?" I'm like, "Well, because he's setting this up here because this is why." And he explained it, and they'll be like, "Well, that doesn't make any sense." Okay, I don't know what to say. Then it's like, did I explain it right? Did I put it in depth? And if other people say, no, I get it, it's like, okay, it's just something that they just didn't experience for whatever reason. It's on their wheelhouse. And that's fine. And that happens to me a lot too. It happens to all of us. We're human. We all have different experiences, different people, different experiences. But for me, that's where the whole dialogue thing comes into play. We want to convey that realism, what we're trying to do, but we also need to keep it real. Instead of, we always want to look for that perfect word, the perfect phrase. Sometimes it's imperfect stuff that sticks out. You know, I mean, just in general, we listen to, as writers, we people watch, we people listen. We go to Starbucks or wherever else, we watch people, we watch interactions, see what they say. Maybe they'll catch a phrase, this and that, how they act. I mean, it is. We remember what something like maybe our family members, friends told years back, and yeah, it's a cool phrase, it's a cool point or whatever. And we use it, and people tend not to speak well grammatically. It just is what it is, And putting it adds a little touch to it. Not everything has to be perfect. We don't have to like mill every word to be absolutely spot on. We don't have to mine every sentence to be like earth shattering. One example I absolutely love, and this it's pretty so much fun. I mean, as you can tell by my shirt, I'm a Friday the 13th fan. I'm a huge Jason fan. Have been since I saw part 3 on Select TV way back when. We're talking like 83, 84 ish, maybe 85. I don't remember. I'm thinking about it. 83, 84. And I've always been a fan of it. Just okay, just like In part four, final chapter, there's a scene where Jason's, you know, cat can got basically out for revenge because Jason killed his sister in part two. Named Rob in the basement, and he's using one of those hand rakes for the garden, those little small ones, which Jason's handyman. He's what's handy. It's like, and it's not exactly the best way to go out. And he's doing a deed, and Rob's yelling, "He's killing me! He's killing me!" And to this day, fans mock that line religiously. It's the worst line of even saying that. Just think about it. That's just who would say that? Who would do that? And the director said in the behind the scenes that there was actually a news story where a man was being attacked by somebody, and he's running down the street with the person chasing him. He's yelling, "He's killing me! He's killing me!" And the guy's actually saying this. So, that's a cool, that's an interesting line to put in. Let's put the line in, and he did. And people never talk that way. We just said people run upstairs, right? When someone's in the house, run out the front door. And that's the thing with people, and that's where, for us, when we write our dialogues, and so I'm talking about like characters and dialogues, keep it real, is how do people react to these situations? Not everyone's going to be an Einstein or a nuclear physicist when they're confronted with danger. People are going to panic. And when we panic, we do stupid things. Like I said, like, for instance, running upstairs or being chased by somebody, not saying running out the front door. Why? We're safe. We're going where we're safe. We're safe in our room. We're safe in a place we know. We go outside, we don't know what's out there. We don't know where we can go out there. We don't know, but we know we can make it to our room. We can lock the door. We can feel safe in there. It's familiar. And so when we panic, we do that. We panic, we say things that are not the best. Even though we don't panic, we don't say things that are the best. We're very smart. People are very smart, but we can also have really dumb moments. And we say things we don't mean, or we don't want to say, or whatever. And it's just like heat of the moment, and that's the biggest thing in a lot of the stories is for when we're writing our dialogue. I guess, again, for me, especially my character-driven ones, ideas, I want it to be as realistic as possible. I may not understand the dialogue. I may not understand what the dialogue I wrote. I might write something in 2 days and I'll be like, what am I saying? What's this mean? And I'll be lost. I'll have to try to think what it means. Because it's a time it sounded good. That may mean it may not stand up. It may mean it's deep or not. And I don't really get it. I didn't get it the first time. I just thought it sounded cool. We each have our different, methodologies, our different ways of doing it. And that's where, for me, it comes into play because we're human. We're not robots spitting out something. We're not AI spitting out a book. We're not putting out perfect grammar. We're not putting out something that's perfectly punctuated. We have those flaws. We live those flaws. We are those flaws. And in our writing, in our dialogue, it comes across. Because people will say, instead of saying yeah or yes, they'll say, yeah, no, like YA, yeah. People say that. I mean, they'll cut off words and different accents, everything else. It happens all the time. And I think that's where the biggest thing is, like, we just let it flow. For me, it's about letting it flow. If I try to mind it too much to make it perfect, get the perfect meaning, I lose the feel. I lose that, not really spontaneity, but just that the natural organic feel of it. Like it's not being created. It's like I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's like it's not being created. It's being manufactured. Let me put it that way. It's almost like it's coming off an assembly line. Something it's putting together perfectly. So it all snaps together. It's a nice, neat. It's a shiny little box. It's a nice shiny little box over here. Flawless. Great. It's a shiny box. What's it do? It just sits there. Do you look at it and get joy out of it? No, it just sits there. Okay. But you have some of the little flaws, little character. Like with furniture, people de-stress with the stressed furniture to make them look older. Add character to it. See something, that's flawed. Let's go. That little gash here or that. And you kind of just see it. And it kind of gets you thinking, well, what could have caused that? What could have done this? What could have done? And for me, that's writing. That's dialogue. If anything else in our stories, at least for mine, I want to be as organic as possible. My whole process is organic for the most part. So I don't manufacture stuff in there. I mean, I try to get the scenes, but I write what I write, and then I have to usually clean it up. I don't plot out like every sentence or every chapter of my stories. So what comes out is what comes out. Then I gotta, like I said, clean it up. So I don't really manufacture it, but even when those that I know that do plot it out and do have a manufactured quality to it, like an assembly line type of mentality in a way, they still look for that. They try to get the dialogue natural, and I think that's the biggest thing. We can have our narration how it is, we can storytelling how it is, but for me, our dialogue needs to feel organic. It needs to feel natural. It needs to flow. Like I want to be able to sit there and read and exchange, whether it's in my books or someone else. I love to sit there and read it and maybe smile, maybe try to remember. And I worked with a guy like that. Or yeah, I know someone would say something like that. Or I can picture these two. I'm like, well, that's Aunt Jill and Auntie Barb or whatever. It's like a family get together or something. That's kind of how I look for it in dialogue. That's. I'm hoping I'm explaining it right because I'm like it makes sense in my head, but it might not be conveyed right. But yeah, I mean that's the organic flow. It just flows out. It's just natural. There's it just needs to be maybe tweaked, maybe fine tuned, but it's not like that manufactured. Like, yes, this is a perfect sentence. This is a perfect way of saying this. Is a perfect. This is a perfect building block. We didn't take, they say, like Legos. We didn't take like a handful of Legos to make this perfect brick out, and then like kind of shellac over it, so like fill the gap, so it's just like a solid brick. There's no lines anymore. No, so okay, maybe one's a little stick out a little more, maybe a little crooked. Yeah, that's character. At least that's my thought. We need to dialogue needs to have character. It needs to engage us, and to me, it just makes it fun. Get it into the person's personality. Like for me, I know, like if I'm upset with somebody, apparently the phrase I want to hear is like, you know what? I say that, and it's everyone's like kind of sitting there. Okay, this will be good. Get the popcorn. Even now, I can't even do it right now. I got to be actually annoyed to actually do it right. But it's like we all have those little quirks. Those little things that make it fun, and conveying in a writing, I think, is what makes our dialogue, either stand out or feel manufactured, feel kind of flat. Again, like a soap opera. Are we going to sit there and talk about watching paint dry and what it's like watching paint dry? Or are we going to try to tell a story, say, of painting the wall and how we had a paint fight or something like that? You know what I mean? Just add the energy to it. Just add some life to it. Like, let it flow. It's the whole thing. When it comes writing, let it flow. We can clean it up in editing later on. Whatever comes to mind, let it flow. We can worry about everything else after the fact. That's it. Yeah, that's all I have for this week. Like I said, if you have any dialogue tips yourself or what you prefer, do you agree? Do you disagree? Please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to hear different points. I'd love to hear how you look at different things, how you might consider dialogue, what's good dialogue versus not. Let me know. And if you could please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, thank you so much for spending your time with me. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Until then, have a great one, guys, and let your imaginations fly. See you then.